This is William Patterson University Television.
Welcome back to the desk. After a long hiatus from the set, we are back to talk some Pioneer hoops. And here to break it down with me are Andrew, Marc, Joe, and Anthony. So Marc, I'll start off with you at the women's side of things. Run into a little bit of struggles lately in conference play. Definitely have the talent and the ability to turn around. What is the key for you?
Yeah, that's definitely, struggling as of late. And I think a part of that is their bad shot selection. So I think that really needs to improve, Only shooting 37% from the field as a team. They're rushing to get the shots up. That's really what's killing them. They need to slow down the play, look for the open woman, and make sure that they're getting the looks that they need.
You definitely have good scorers on the team. Get that field goal percentage up can make a difference. Joe, throw it over to you.
It's really right out the bat, forcing turnovers. They did a good job beginning the season, really forcing turnovers. They're averaging 16.5 points off turnover. That's actually more than opponents, but they've been kind of backtracking a little bit of turnover games. So they got to go back to that, especially, for example, when they play NJCU, stopping Damaris Rodriguez, who was their phenomenal top scorer, stopping key players in each team, and limiting them. And really, just creating those turnovers and transitional points as well.
Yeah, transitional points definitely a key, Joe. Andrew?
I got to go with three-point shooting. Right now, they're sitting at 8th in the NJAC in three-point shooting. They're averaging about 4 made per game, but they're 4th in the NJAC in three-point percentage. They're shooting around 30% as a team. And Bree Smith and Renee Wells both have been amazing from deep, really, this season. And if they can continue to kill it for these last couple of weeks, they're going to make a big push.
Yeah, teams like TC&J, Kane, who have had success against William Patterson, a big reason behind that is the difference in the three ball. So if the Pioneers do get into that conference tournament, that'll make a big difference. Anthony?
Yeah, Marc and I are kind of on the same page here. He went with shot selection. I'm going to go with scoring efficiency. Against Stockton, or against Robyn, I should say, I know the game went to overtime. Pioneers shot 76 shots. They shot under 30%. You got to get that number up. On the season, they're shooting around 37%, which isn't bad. But in the past 2 games, they're shooting 30% against Robyn, 33.9% against NJCU. You got to get back to that 37-40% range.
And Anthony, I'll keep it over with you. A freshman on the Pioneers team that has really stood out and is also one of the better scorers on the topic of scoring is Renee Wells. Talking about her season, what you've seen.
Yeah, Pioneers keep going to the Renee Wells, and it's working for them. We're going to take a look at her stats right here. She's averaging over 11 points per game on the season, shooting over 40% from 3. She's playing just a shade under 30 minutes per game, and her field goal percentage is around 40%. She's been a great rookie for this Pioneer team. She's really stepped up. She's honestly taken the role that Akira Rosa took when she was a freshman as like a floor general. She can manage the floor. She knew what was going on. She could direct traffic and stuff too. So I feel like she's going to be a big part of this team, not just this year, but next year, the year after, and then the year after, hopefully.
Yeah, really has fit into the starting lineup well. Marc, what have you seen?
Yeah, it's really impressive. You saw on that graphic, it said 29 minutes per game. I mean, you don't see a lot of freshmen playing that much time. And that really shows how much faith Coach Monahan has in her to really play well and, be a difference maker for this Pioneers women's team.
Definitely been a difference maker, offensive and defensive end. She also, about 5'9", 5'10", can make a difference on rebounding. Joe, Renee Wells, what do you like from her season?
Well, first of all, as a freshman, Rookie of the Week 6 times in the NJAC, that's very special. As a freshman, converting from the high school level into the college level, that's a very special talent. It's not easy to make that adjustment. And for her, this is a very special season, and I hope to see more from her as her years go by and improving in everything that she does. But for now, what she does for this team on the floor and when she's on the court with the starting 5, they're winning games, and she's a difference maker out there.
Yeah, all those Rookie of the Weeks, nothing to scoff at. Andrew?
I mean, these guys said it perfectly. I mean, she's a 3rd leading scorer on the team, and she's a freshman, and she's won those NJAC Rookie of the Weeks plenty of times, and I think she's really shocked everyone with how good she would be. I don't think anybody was expecting her to play 30 minutes a game and play to this level that she's played. And especially with people like Justina Cabezas and Akira Rosa and Bree Smith all leaving next year, she's going to be taking a huge role on this team.
Yeah, going to be a huge role, kind of almost taking over for Brianna Brooks in that aspect. Very both good finishing with the left hand around the basket, something that I have noticed. Driving to the lane, she can also shoot as well. Andrew, I'll keep it with you. Switching over to the men's team now. They're on the outside looking in as far as the NJAC playoff is concerned, but they're not out of it. They know they've got to run the table, and that's going to be key. What game coming up is the biggest for you to start to get that done?
I would say the final regular season game at Ramapo has to be the most important. They lost to Ramapo 69-66 when Ramapo came over to here. It was a tough night shooting for William Patterson. They really just couldn't get anything going. And especially if the Pioneers win these next couple of games and they get a little bit of help along the way, this game is going to be absolutely massive, especially if it can clinch the playoffs for the Pioneers.
Yeah, if they can get to that point, make that big of a difference, it absolutely make a difference. Joe?
I chose MSU, and the reason I said MSU because the first meeting around they lost them, and it's funny because they actually dominated MSU in really the categories within the transitional points, bench points, and also points off turnovers, which is pretty amazing when I saw the box score. But you got to win. If you're gonna go into Montclair State, you got to win the bench game. You got to win the 3-point game too. They had a terrible 3-point percentage compared to MSU in their first meeting. And you got to win the free throw battle. You have to make your free throws, and you have to get to the line. I want to see you drive in more and create contact and get to the line and get those free points.
Yeah, free points they're free, as Danny Honest
Yeah.
used to say. Big-time friend of the show, always talked about the free throws. Definitely going to make a difference in all parts of basketball. Marc, where are you going?
I'm actually going to agree with Joe here. I'm taking Montclair State because this is an away game for the Pioneers. They came here earlier, beat us by 10. You know, that Montclair State's they're not slackers. They're 16-3 overall, 10-2 in the conference. It's going to be a tough task, but a really, really important one if the Pioneers really want to make that push for the playoffs.
You know, Montclair State ended the Pioneers season last year in the conference tournament, really back and forth game in Montclair. So always fun when those rivals get together. Anthony, who's your pick?
I'm looking at the game against TCNJ. Last time the Pioneers played TCNJ, Willie P only lost by 9, and they had a lot of scoring in the backs of Sean Summers and Tyrese Montgomery. They scored 17 points and 16 points respectively. Since then, a lot of players have stepped up for the Pioneers. Cesar Silvestro had a big game scoring against Robyn. We're seeing Neftali Valentin really come into his own shooting the 3 ball. I expect the Pioneers to get more players involved, spread the level a little bit more, put up some more points, hopefully win that game.
Yeah, get deeper into the bench. Uche Unegbu can play a difference. Dave Martinez can play a difference. Guys, more some unsung heroes, get the collaborative effort going. And you know, Joe, Stockton tomorrow, big time game. We talked about biggest game going forward. Didn't mention that game, but it starts with 1. So what do you want to see from Stockton?
Yeah, well, first
tomorrow?
of all, let's take a look real quick at how both teams compare to each other. But honestly, when you take a look at really the comparison, Stockton really just dominates the conference record. I mean, they're one of the best teams in the NJAC. Points per game, they're both average 70. But when you take a look at their previous game, right, they lost by 10 to the Pioneers. However, Stockton, 28 points off turnovers, 32 points in the paint. This is a Stockton team that has over 6+ guys in the over 6 feet. You know what I mean? It's hard when you're undersized. So if you're the Pioneers, you really got to defend the paint really well and just play your game, right? Unfortunately, you got to play small ball. But if you're able to have a good shooting night, you know, you have a chance to beat a very good Stockton team and still make a statement for an NJAC win.
Yeah, Michael Gilmore came on the set and talked about making the 3-point shots. Chapman always talks about getting out and running, creating transition offense. So, Anthony, where are you going with this?
Yeah, Marc and I called the game at Stockton a few months ago, and Stockton's really good. They're 10-2 in the NJAC. But here's some of the Pioneers need to slow down. DJ Campbell averaging over 18 points a game. He was amazing in the game against William Patterson. He shot, I think, 8 for 16 with 21 points. Other players the Pioneers need to keep an eye on. Keon Flanders and Cadian Dawkins both are averaging over 10 points a game. And I know this is easier said than done. The Pioneers can limit those 3 guys. And like I said, I know that's a tough task, but I think they can do it. They can lay the whopper on Stockton this weekend.
It would be nice if the Pioneers could have it their way this weekend. Andrew, I'll go to you. What do you want to see from the Pioneers this weekend?
This is a tough one, just like Walker said. I mean, they got to stop the best player in the NJAC, and DJ Campbell. The guy's an absolute beast. He had 21 against him last time. And the Pioneers, they couldn't shoot last time at all. Shot just 22% from 3, and that's something that they're definitely going to have to do. And if this game it's at the point where these guys know they need to win these games. Every game now is must win. So they got to be on their A game tomorrow.
You got to be on their A game every quarter. Can't afford to fall behind. Marc, close us out.
Yeah, hearing the name DJ Campbell gives me some flashbacks to that game that Anthony and I called. He was absolutely electric for Stockton, and really what William Patterson has to do is really play to their identity. Tough, physical, fast basketball. That is what they excel in. It is what they need to do if they want to have the chance at beating Stockton.
Yeah, and it's what they did in that win over Kane during the break. That was a big-time electric win. A bunch of us were there to watch the game, call the game. So it was a lot of fun. Hopefully they carry some of that momentum that we saw against Stockton. But as we close out William Patterson Hoops today, we'll throw a bounce pass over to Naiji and the boys on the NBA as they break down everything on the hardwood. Keep it locked.